Good afternoon. My name is Cindy. Thanks for listening to my speech today. So on Saturday, December 1st, 2013, at 7:19 a.m., a passenger train for the Metro North Railroad derailed close to Sputton Duval Station that is located in Bronx, New York. The accident ended up killing 4 people and injuring 59. This accident happened because the engineer fell asleep due to an undiagnosed case of sleep apnea. This is an excerpt from a 2015 article by Mary McKay called Fatal Consequences, Obstructive Sleep Apnea in a Trained Engineer. According to the survey that I had sent out, all of you have heard of sleep apnea, and more than half of you know someone who suffers from sleep apnea. I've done a comprehensive research on this topic, plus I personally suffer from sleep apnea myself. Today I want to talk to you about what is obstructive sleep apnea, the signs and symptoms, and the treatment that's available. The first thing I want to talk to you about is what is obstructive sleep apnea. So according to the Sleep Disorder Sourcebook, printed in 2016, obstructive sleep apnea is when the soft tissue of the back of the throat is loosened and then causes the airway to become blocked. Obstructive sleep apnea is the most common form of sleep apnea, according to the 2019 article by the Mayo Clinic. The National Sleep Foundation states that more than 18 million adults in America suffer from obstructive sleep apnea. And as I mentioned before, I am one of those 18 million American people. According to an article, October 2013 article by Cecilia and Patricia called Obstructive Sleep Apnea, a Diagnostic Treatment Guide, there are 3 classifications of obstructive sleep apnea. The first one is mild sleep apnea, which is where a person has 5 to 15 episodes a night of where they stop breathing. The next one is moderate obstructive sleep apnea, where a person will have 15 to 30 episodes a night where they will stop breathing. And finally is severe obstructive sleep apnea. This is where a person has greater than 30 episodes a night, and also their oxygen level will drop below 90%, 20% of the time they are asleep. Now that we know what obstructive sleep apnea is, I now want to talk to you about the signs and symptoms of sleep apnea. So the first symptom that most people recognize is excessive daytime sleepiness. This is where a person will fall asleep during the day, either when they're at work, driving their car, or just sitting around talking on the phone, watching TV. According to the story that I read to you, mentioned above before, that happened in the morning, early in the morning hours. The next symptom is snoring, which it can be loud and disruptive, and it can also be pauses in a person's breath. For me, mine was so bad where my mom would shake me awake because I would stop breathing for like 30 seconds each time, and my snoring would drive her crazy. The next symptom is choking or gasping for air when you're sleeping. This usually happens when a person has stopped breathing and they are starting to breathe again. They are struggling to catch their breath. This can be very scary for the other person. From a personal experience, my mom would worry every night when I would start gasping for air. She literally thought I would die before I would start breathing again. And the last symptom that I want to discuss is feeling of grogginess and morning headaches. And this usually happens because you're not getting very good quality of sleep. You may think you're sleeping at night, but you're not. You're literally up and down, waking up every night. You just don't know it. These lists of signs and symptoms came from a 2007 article from the Saturday Evening Post by Dr. Ralph Dittman called Sleep Apnea, a Wake-Up Call. And also, if you notice on the PowerPoint as well, there are more other symptoms that can happen during the day and at night. These were just a few that I had mentioned. We have discussed the signs and symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea. Now let's talk about the treatments that are available. The Mayo Clinic offers great information on the following treatments. According to the survey that you took, majority of you would seek treatment if you were diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea. The first treatment is lifestyle changes. If a person is overweight, which majority of the people who suffer from obstructive sleep apnea is overweight, losing weight and exercising daily is a good way of relieving some of the symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea. Also, a person can try to sleep on their sides and not on your back. Because when a person has sleep apnea, the back of their throat, when they lay on their back, collapses their airway. If they lay on their side, it's less likely to collapse. And then memory loss can happen as well, just from exhaustion of not having sleep. So that's where exercising and stuff like that can help out as well. The next treatment that most people are aware of or are commonly known is the continuous positive airway pressure, which is also known as CPAP. This is a machine that opens the airway by pushing positive air through a mask into the person's airway, and usually the mask is fitted over their nose or their mouth. The machine can be set for either varied pressure or continuous pressure. When it's continuous pressure, it's just pressing the same amount of air into your airway. If it's varied, it will adjust your pressure. It'll start at 1, and then once you, if you have any episodes where you stop breathing, it will adjust to your pressure level. I have that because my sleep apnea is so bad that I have to have it to where my pressure adjusts throughout the night. And next, also, a lot of people don't know how to use a CPAP machine, or just at least put it on. This is like a 40-second video, just to kind of show you what a person has to go through on a daily basis when they have to use this machine. And this came from the WebMD website.
CindyMobile.com.
So the next treatment that is available, which is not very common, is an oral device. This is for people that have usually like mild or moderate sleep apnea. And this is a little device that goes into your mouth, and it just kind of opens your mouth and helps open your airway and helps you breathe at night. Because this is fitted to your mouth and it's specifically made just for you, you will have to go to like a dentist that specializes in dental sleep machines. So the next one, these other treatments are like surgical treatments. They're not as common as the oral devices or the CPAP machine, but these are available for people that can't take either one of those devices. So the first one is UPPP, or vulvopharyngeal palatinoplasty. I think I said that right. This is where they remove the tissue from the back and top of your mouth. They'll sometimes remove your adenoids and tonsils. So, and the next one is an upper airway stimulation. It's kind of like a pacemaker, but it's for when you sleep. So it's a device that goes in your upper chest, and when a person stops breathing, the stimulator is noted, and it sends a stimulation to the nerves that control your tongue. And finally is jaw surgery. This is where they'll go in and remove your jaw forward away from your other jaw, and it will help open the back of your airway, as you can see from the picture up on the slide there. So tonight we have learned about what is obstructive sleep apnea, the signs and symptoms that one can look for, and also the treatments that are available for someone who is suffering from obstructive sleep apnea. So remember the story that I told you at the beginning of my speech about the train engineer who fell asleep while working and the train derailed. Please, if you know someone who may be suffering from any of the symptoms, or you are suffering, or you're suffering, or you're just not sure, please seek help. Don't let a disaster be the reason that you do go seek help. Thank you.